For example, you're the only person on the stage that's ever been fined for hiring people to work on your projects illegally. You hired some workers from Poland.
I'm the only one on the stage that's hired people. You haven't hired anybody.
Well, in fact, some of the people
and by the way,
I've
hired tens of thousands of people over my job. You've hired
1,000 people
You've
from
had
another
nothing
company,
but problems
from another
with your
country.
credit cards, etc.
Let me say. Let me finish
Senator,
the statement. This is important.
You haven't hired one
He
person
hired
in your life.
workers from Poland, and he had to pay $1 million or so in a judgment.
That's wrong.
That's a fact.
Totally wrong.
Well, people can look it up. I'm sure people are Googling it right now. Look it
Senator
up.
Cruz.
Trump Polish workers. You'll see $1 million for hiring illegal workers on one of his projects. Yeah, he did.
Well. You know, it's interesting.
That happened.
I've hired tens of thousands of people over my lifetime. Tens of thousands.
Many from other countries instead of hiring Americans.
Be quiet. Let me talk. I've hired tens of thousands of people. He brings up something from 30 years ago. It worked out very well. Everybody was happy.
Paid $1 million.
And by the way, the laws were totally different.
Right.
That was a whole different world.
Thank you.
But I've hired people. Nobody up here has hired
Senator
anybody.
Cruz.
And by the way, Marco is exactly right that a federal court found Donald guilty of being part of a conspiracy to hire people illegally and entered a $1 million judgment against him.
I got along with everybody. You get along with nobody. You don't have one Republican. You don't have one Republican senator, and you work with them every day of your life, although you skipped a lot of time. These are minor details. But you don't have one Republican senator backing you, not one. You don't have the endorsement of one Republican senator, and you work with these people.
Senator Cruz.
You should be ashamed of yourself. Here's a man, Robin Hood. This is Robin Hood over here. He talks about corruption on his financial disclosure form. He didn't even put that he's borrowed money from Citibank and from Goldman Sachs, which is a total violation. He didn't talk about the fact that he pays almost no interest. He just left it off, and now he's going to protect the people from the big bad banks.
We're going to move on.
Now, the wall is $10 billion to $12 billion if I do it. If these guys do it, it'll end up costing $200 billion. But the wall is 10 to 12 billion. You need 1,000. You need 1,000 miles. The Great Wall of China, built 2,000 years ago, 2,000 is 13,000 miles. We need 1,000 because we have a lot of natural barriers. We can do it for 10 to 12, and it's a real wall. This is a wall that's a heck of a lot higher than the ceiling you're looking at.
If the Mexicans don't pay for the wall, will you start a trade war with Mexico?
Well, you know, I don't mind trade wars when we're losing $58 billion a year. You want to know the truth. We're losing so much. We're losing so much with Mexico and China. With China, we're losing $500 billion a year. And then people say, oh, don't we want to trade? I don't mind trading, but I don't want to lose $500 billion.
If he builds the wall the way he built Trump Towers, he'll be using illegal immigrant labor to do it. The second...
So cute. Such a cute soundbite.
But no, it's not a soundbite. It's a fact. Yeah, again, go online and Google it. Donald Trump, Polish workers. You'll see it. The second thing about the trade war, I don't understand, because your ties and the clothes you make is made in Mexico and in China. So you're going to be starting a trade war against your own ties and your own suits. All right.
You know why? Because
why don't you make
they
them in
devalue
America?
Their currencies.
No.
They devalue their currencies.
Well, then make them in America.
That makes it impossible. Well, you don't know anything about business. You lose on
make them in
everything you
America.
do. You don't know anything about it because you're a lousy
Well, I don't know
businessman.
anything about bankrupting four companies.
No,
You bankrupted four companies.
You know what?
I don't know anything about
You know what?
starting a university. That was a fake university.
First of all,
a fake university.
That's called.
There are people that borrowed $36,000 to go to
Mr.
Trump University, and they're suing him now. $36,000 to go to a university.
By the way,
that's a fake school.
And by the way,
and you know what they got? They got to take a picture with a cardboard cutout of Donald Trump.
And by the way,
that's what they got for the $36,000.
I want to move on.
And they actually did a very good job. But I've won most of the lawsuit.
Senator, I want to bring in I want to bring in my colleague Maria Celeste.
Excuse me, hey, Wolf, let me ask you, am I allowed to respond to this?
You're allowed. You've been responding.
Okay, well, no, I haven't. I really haven't.
He's talked through the whole thing.
Here's the guy that buys a house for $179,000. He sells it to a lobbyist who's probably here for $380,000, and then legislation is passed. You tell me about this guy. This is what we're going to have.
Here's the guy that inherited $200 million. If he hadn't inherited $200 million, you know where Donald Trump would be right now? Selling watches in Manhattan.
Wrong. That's where that is so wrong. We'll work on that. I took $1 million and I turned it into $10
$1
billion. I borrowed $1
Then
million.
release your tax return so we can see how much money
I
he
borrowed
makes.
$1 million. I turned it into $10 billion, more than $10 billion.
As soon as I step foot into the Oval Office.
I have to say,
Senator
he lied
Cruz.
this time. He lied. 100%. 100%.
Senator Cruz.
You lied about the Polish workers.
Yeah.
You lied to the
38
students of Trump
years ago.
University.
38
Senator
years
Cruz
ago.
Oh, he lied
please.
38 years ago. All right, I guess there's a statute of limitation on lies.
First of all, I don't believe anything Telemundo says.
You used to say that you love.
Number one.
The Second Amendment
When
from the
you
Bill of
say
Rights.
crazy zealot, are you talking about you, crazy zealot? Give me a break.
What you're saying is getting rid of the barriers between states, that is going to solve the problem?
That's going to solve a lot of the problem. And the insurance companies are going to say that. They want to keep it. They say whatever they have to say to keep it the way it is. I know the insurance companies. They're friends of mine. The top guys, they're friends of mine. I shouldn't tell you guys. You'll say it's terrible. I have a conflict of interest. They're friends of mine. There's some right in the audience. One of them was just waving to me. He was laughing and smiling. He's not laughing so much anymore. Hi. But you know what? The insurance companies are making an absolute fortune. Yes, they will keep pre-existing conditions, and that would be a great thing. Get rid of Obamacare. We'll come up with new plans, but we should keep pre-existing conditions.
Here's what you didn't hear in that answer, and this is important, guys. This is an important thing. What is your plan? I understand the lines around the state, whatever that means. This is not a game where you draw maps
And you
around.
don't know what it
What
means.
is your plan?
That's the problem.
What is
don't
your
know.
plan on health care? You don't have a plan.
The biggest
What is
problem
it?
he
I'll
doesn't
give
know.
you 1 minute
The
at a
biggest
time to tell me
problem
his
he's
plan.
got is he
What's his
doesn't know.
plan?
You know, I watched him melt down 2 weeks ago with Chris Christie. I got to tell you, the biggest problem he's got is he really doesn't know about the lines. The biggest thing we've got, and the reason we have no competition, is because we have lines around the state, and you have
I know,
essentially
we already mentioned that as part of my
monopolies in the
plan.
state.
I know what that is. But
you
what
don't know-
else
I
is
don't
part
think
of
you
your
know
plan?
much.
So your only thing is to get rid of the lines around the states. What else is part of your health care
the
plan?
lines around the states mean.
That's your only
and it was
plan.
almost done. No. You know
All
what
right,
that
there's-
does?
I'll
That
give him
brings
time to
in.
mind. He can
Excuse
tell
me.
us his plan.
Excuse me. That
What's your
brings
plan?
in competition. When you get rid of the lines, it brings in competition. So instead of having one insurance company taking care of New York or Texas, you'll have many. They'll compete, and it'll be a beautiful thing.
Right. And so that's the only part of the plan? Just the lines, the interstate
Well, no,
competition?
the nice part about the plan, you'll have many different plans. You'll have competition. You'll have so many different plans.
But now he's repeating himself.
No,
Mr.
I'm
Trump.
not repeating. No. I don't repeat myself.
You don't repeat yourself.
Here's the guy who repeats himself. I don't
You repeat yourself every day.
I watched him, talking about repeating, I watched him repeat himself 5 times 4 weeks ago. And
I saw
wanna
you
tell
repeat yourself 5
it
times
was a
5
meltdown.
seconds ago.
I watched him melt down on the stage like I've never seen anybody.
Let's stay
I thought he
focused
came
on
out of
the
a swimming
substance.
pool.
I said, well,
Let's talk
I see him
about
repeat
your
himself
plan.
every night. It says 5 things. Everyone's dumb.
Senator
He's going to
Rubio.
make America great
Senator
again. We're going to
Rubio.
win, win, win.
Senator
He's
Rubio,
winning in the
please.
polls.
It's all true.
And the
Please
lines
stop.
around the state. Every night. Same thing.
Senator Rubio.
I tell the truth. I tell
Senator
the
Rubio,
truth.
you will have time to respond. If you
All
would
right.
just let Mr. Trump respond to what
Yeah,
you
he's
just
gonna give us
posed
his
to
plan
him.
now, right?
If you could talk a little bit more about your plan. I know you talked about
No,
the
we're going to
interstate.
have many different plans
you
because
give
there's going
us
to be
specific?
competition.
Said it again.
There's going to be competition. There is going to be competition among all of the states and the insurance companies. They're going to have many, many different plans.
Is there anything else you would like to add to that? as part of
No,
your
there's
plan?
nothing to add. What's to add? What is to add?
Donald, true or false, you've said the government should pay for everyone's health care.
That's false.
You've never said that.
No, I never. I said it worked in a couple of countries,
But
I
you've
never said
never
it.
stood on this debate stage and says it works
No,
great
I
in
did
Canada
not.
and Scotland, and we
No,
should
I
do it
did
here.
not.
Did you
No, I
say
did not.
if you want people to die on the streets, if you don't support socialized health care, you have no
Correct.
heart?
I will
Did you
not
say
let
you're a
people
liberal
die
on
on the
health
streets
care?
if I'm president.
Have
If
you said
people-
you're a liberal on health
Excuse
care?
me, let me talk.
Talk away.
If people-
Explain your plan, please.
My plan is very simple. I will not, we're going to have private health care, but I will not allow people to die on the sidewalks and the streets of our country if I'm president. You may let it, and you may be fine
So
with
does
it.
the government pay
I'm
for
not
everyone's
fine
health
with
care?
it. We are going to take
Yes
those
or no?
people and
Just
they're going
answer
to
the question.
Excuse me. We are going to take those people, and those people are going to be serviced by doctors and hospitals. We're going to make great deals on it. but we're not going to let them die in the street.
People die in the
Well,
streets
this is
if the
a critical
government doesn't
answer. He
support
should
health
answer.
care.
The government would
Gentlemen, all of you have
refusing
agreed.
to answer that
Call
question.
it
Senator
what you
Cruz.
want. You know what? Call it what you want.
It's a yes or no.
Call it what you want. People are not going to be dying on
All
the
of you have
sidewalks of the
agreed,
street.
all of you. If you eliminate completely the Department of Education as you have proposed, that's about $68 billion. If you eliminate the Environmental Protection Agency, that's about $8 billion. That's about $76 billion for those two agencies. The current deficit this year is $544 billion. Where are you going to come up with the money?
Waste, fraud, and abuse all over the place. Waste, fraud, and abuse. You look at what's happening with Social Security. You look at what's happening with every agency. Waste, fraud, and abuse. We will cut so much, your head will spin.
Mr. Trump,
First of all,
Mr.
he's
Trump.
talking about the polls. I'm beating him awfully badly in the polls.
But
every
you're not
single
beating
one of them.
Hillary.
So
But
I don't
you're not
know.
beating
I don't-
Hillary.
Well, then if I can't beat her, you're really going to get killed, aren't you? In all fairness, Marco is not a negotiator. I watched him melt down, and I'll tell you, it was one of the saddest things I've ever seen. He's not going down.
He thinks the
Excuse me, wait
Palestinian is a
minute, wait
real
minute.
estate deal.
And these people may even be tougher than Chris Christie, okay?
The Palestinians
They may
are not
even
a
be
real
tougher.
estate deal,
Okay,
Donald.
no. A deal,
not a real estate
deal is a
deal.
deal. Let me tell you,
A
I've
deal
learned
is
a
not
long
a deal
time
when you're
ago.
dealing with terrorists. Have you
You
ever
are not a
negotiated with terrorists?
negotiator. You are not a negotiator. And with your thinking, you will never
agree.
bring peace. You will never bring peace.
Donald might be able to build
I wanna be
condos in the
able-
Palestinian
Excuse
areas,
me.
but he's not going to. This is
Excuse
not a
me,
real
I
estate
wanna
deal.
be able to bring
Senator.
peace. He will never be able to do it. I think I may be able to do it, although I will say this, probably the toughest deal of any kind is that particular deal. My response is very simple. There is nobody on this stage that has done more for Israel than I have. Nobody. You might say, you might talk, your politicians all talk, no action. I've been watching it all my life. You are all talk and no
Name one
action. What
specific
I've
thing you've
seen
done.
up here, I mean, first of all, this guy's a choke artist and this guy's a liar. You have a combination.
guy always goes for-
you have a combination of factors. He
This is
can't
so
do it for the
typical.
obvious reason, and he
But
can't do
here's
it
the
because
typical
he
thing he
doesn't
does.
know how to tell the truth.
Here-
Other than that, I rest my case.
This is the typical thing he does.
You've been funding liberal Democratic politicians, and by the way,
I funded
the,
you.
The
I
reason
funded him.
You're welcome
You
to
believe
have
it?
the check
I
back.
funded this guy.
Because let's
I
be
gave him
clear.
a check.
Yeah,
I
you
gave
gave me
him a check.
$5,000.
You never funded me.
And by the way, let's be clear. Donald claims to care
You know why? I didn't
about
want to, but he sent me his
Donald,
book with his autograph.
Donald, I understand rules
Mr.
are very
Trump,
hard
you're
for you.
doing
They're
a great
very
job.
confusing.
I have his book.
Okay,
Yeah, on your
Mr.
reality
Trump,
TV
you're doing a
show,
great
not
job.
in
Thank you.
Donald,
Thank you for the book.
Donald.
Thank you for the book. Go ahead.
Donald, you can get back on
We
your
had a lot
meds
of fun
now.
up here tonight, I have to tell you. Thank you for the book. I really appreciate it.
Donald, relax.
Go ahead. I'm relaxed. You're
sent
the
him a
basket
book.
case. Go ahead. Go
Donald,
ahead. Don't get nervous.
Go
ahead.
My
I
name
promise
is,
you,
my
Donald,
name is
there's
Mitch.
nothing about
I've
you
seen
that
you.
makes
I've
anyone
seen you.
nervous.
You're losing
people
so
are actually
badly.
watching
I wanna-
this
I
at
You
wanna-
don't know
Okay.
what's happening.
Gentlemen.